You know what really grinds my gears? The fact that I have to look at this ugly, unfinished wall every time I use my storage room. Not to mention the fact that somebody thought it would be okay to leave this slab of cobblestone in the middle of nowhere and make it a permanent feature of the house. Like, who does that? I can't put up with it any longer, so we're gonna have to fix it. First things first, I need more space, so we're gonna add a second floor into the home. For me, anything less than 5 blocks high for the main floor just feels too low and cramped, so we're gonna go ahead and raise the ceiling while we're at it. Now I can already tell that this entryway is going to be a bit of a challenge to work with because of the weird profiles that the exterior wall creates. So we're going to go ahead and replace this cobblestone with some oak planks for now and see how that works, kind of tweak it as we go. But I think this is going to be a better option in the end. Now, do I have any specific plans for this interior? Not really, but do I know I want a storage room in the upstairs attic? Yes. So we're going to start with that, and I think this can be a good place for those little odds and ends you accumulate within the game. Now, I'm starting to feel like the oak is going to get pretty old pretty quickly, so I'm going to need some more wood types to work with, but I don't have any, so you know what that means? Exploration time. After placing only a handful of blocks, the easily distracted Beef decides to leave the safety of her habitat. In search of exotic wood types, she decides to venture north. It comes as quite a surprise that she can swim so well given the weight of her armor, yet she continues on her mission. Though she is quite a busy creature, she doesn't fail to take a moment to enjoy the beautiful scenery once in a while. As beautiful as it may be, she knows that she has a long journey ahead of her and plenty of ground to cover. The abundantly green land can be dangerous for those who do not pay attention to their surroundings, but fortunately, Beef remains alert and aware of the danger, and passes by unscathed. As she makes her way towards a village, she helps herself to the bales of hay lying around and continues on her way. She eventually makes it to the ocean. Unsure of what lands await her, she leaves the safety of the sunny plains and sails off. As the sun begins to set, she finds a small island to sleep through the night. And once again, she sails off into the ocean. She now faces new challenges as she enters the icy terrain. As she comes across a group of polar bears, she braces herself for battle. Sword ready, she attacks. The polar bear stood no chance. Beef once again takes in the beauty of the land, this time relieved to have made it through the icy tundra. Spotting a shipwreck in the distance, she is in awe of the unusual combination of wood types used. After investigating further, she finds a buried treasure map and decides to follow it. She gracefully maneuvers around a trident-wielding sea creature who must have been protecting the treasure. After dealing with the threat, she places herself above the X and begins digging. Uncertain by how easy it was to find the chest, she opens it cautiously and is pleasantly surprised by the handful of artifacts that lie within. As the sun sets once again, she finds an odd place to rest for the night. What a unique creature she is. Discovering a new biome, she enters the swamp, quickly drawn to the native flora. For fear of being poisoned with the nearby witch's potions, she takes aim. Unable to make contact with the witch, she unfortunately hits the creature she wanted to take home with her. What a shame. She stumbles across a pillager tower and heroically releases the Allays from captivity. New friends in tow, Beef continues her search for the exotic wood types she has been seeking. It has proven to be a successful endeavor. She finally finds her first acacia tree, and she quickly harvests it and collects the saplings. Making her way back through another swamp, she stops to observe the native fauna she did not come across earlier. Beef knows that it's time to begin heading back towards home, so she takes the opportunity to appreciate the scenery yet again, unsure of when she will be back. She is pleased to find a dark oak forest on her way towards home and takes a detour to collect the native wood. After many days of travel, spanning thousands of blocks, she returns home with an inventory full of new resources. Her only regret? Not returning with the black cat she had hoped for. As you can see, once I got back from my little expedition, I decided to go ahead and plant the trees. So I got everything over here growing so I can start to harvest these as I need them. The one thing I didn't mention is I got like 3 things of bamboo in the treasure chest that I found. So I planted those as well. So I do have bamboo. I was in search of a jungle specifically because I really wanted jungle wood. And I'm glad to have bamboo now because I can at least make scaffolding, but I still do want that jungle wood. So I'm going to be keeping my eye out for some wandering traders in hopes that they have both mangrove propagules and jungle wood saplings because I really want both. Oh, that scared me. Why are you here? Okay, hold on. Little bit of it. Do you get it? Okay. See, I actually can make a shot. I just couldn't make a shot in any of the video earlier. Okay. That freaked me out. Okay. Anyways. So, like I said, we got trees planted so I can start collecting those more and get some more wood. And then in here, I am going to go ahead. Oh, this horse went me. So in here, these are my current plans for the room. So I have the ceiling lifted and that's where I stopped. So I have living room. This would be like kitchen, brewing area. This is going to be storage and like utility. Up here, I want this to be bedroom, enchanting, and then some more storage. So that will be like storage area. Then this will somehow turn into bedroom and an enchanting room. And then down here, this I think will be like armor and weapon storage. And I'm going to go ahead and hop on a live stream and start working away on this. I'm hoping to get quite a bit done. If you want to join in and follow along in the live streams, it's twitch.tv/madsbeef. Feel free to come join us anytime. I'm planning on streaming about 3 times a week, but if you want to hop in the Discord, I'll link it down below. I will keep you updated on my schedule in there. But yeah, come join us. I'm going to go ahead and get to work on that though. Now that I have more wood types to work with, I'm going to go ahead and finish this upstairs storage room. So since this space is very long and narrow, I want to keep it simple, and so we're just going to line the sides with barrels. And it's starting to feel like a hallway that leads into nothing to me, so I'm popping out a window at the end of it, and I decided to use fences instead of glass panes so that it feels more like a gable vent, like what you'd typically see leading into an attic outside of a house rather than just a window. Next, I am focusing on the bedroom area. So this space under the opposite gable is the perfect spot considering it's the only other flat wall that I can work with, and it's not too far away from the stairs, so I can get to it pretty quickly if I'm trying to go to sleep. As I'm working, I'm starting to notice just how much open floor space there is to fill, so I'm gonna break it up in whatever way that I can. So I'm thinking adding more walls, because more walls means more flat surfaces to add furniture along. So we're gonna box out a portion of the room and make it look somewhat like a closet, and then we have more walls to work with. Now, shifting gears to focus on the downstairs, we're gonna assess that most challenging part I talked about earlier, so the entryway. Most of the blocks, like I said, are visible on the exterior of the house, so there's really not a lot of flexibility of what can move. So the best option is going to be to lower the ceiling and hide some of those weird profiles with columns and beams, and we're going to use trapdoors to fill the gaps. And there's this little awkward corner of cobble and column that's bothering me, so I'm throwing in a potted plant to cover up that corner. So the space next to the stairs is quite narrow, and I really can only place decoration along the left wall if I want to have enough clear space to walk through. So I decided that this space is going to be the extra armor and tools storage room. So I'm going ahead and making a storage display case by using armor stands and barrels along that left wall. Heading back upstairs, I really need to find a new home for this enchanting table, and I already mentioned I want to break up this space a little bit more, so I figured some floor-to-ceiling walls, when I can, would be the best bet. And considering the purpose of this space, I went with floor-to-ceiling chiseled bookshelves. So not only do I get a more cozy feeling, I also get book storage, and it just ties into the purpose of the space altogether. This long stretch of sloped roof at the top of the stairs is starting to feel like a little bit of wasted space, so I went ahead and added some barrels for storage here and just to break up that roof slope as well. Now, during stream, we were just chatting and decided to go ahead and try out a fireplace in this space. So I'm going ahead and building out a chimney and seeing how it works. And in the end, it made more sense for me to move the living room from the space that's nearest the windows to this space that's around the chimney and fireplace, because it just makes more sense for it to be centered around that, with it being the heart of the house. And overall, I like this a lot better, so I'm really appreciative for the suggestion on stream. And if you guys want to contribute to the design as well, feel free to join. I love all of the collaborative efforts. And last but not least, we are adding the brewing kitchen to the home. So I am using barrels along the primary wall, and this will eventually store the brewing ingredients as I acquire them. And I snagged some brewing stands from some villages earlier while I was exploring, so I threw those in here. And then across from the barrels, we have a table, and at the center of that table is an infinite water source, so I can use that to fill bottles whenever I am ready to start brewing. I am so glad to finally have a decorated interior on this house. I've been itching to do this for so long, and I had to put it off just because of timing, and I needed to get the other episodes edited and ready to get out. So it feels good that this is finally complete. Now, I do want to show a couple of things that did not make it in the time lapse. So I went ahead and added some wood signage along this wall that I had switched from cobblestone to wood planks. And I think it does a good job of just adding depth to the wall and separating it from the roof, since it is the same material. I really didn't want them to blend in. And you'll probably notice as I go around that I added texture to these walls, and it was finally time to break it up. I originally wanted to just keep it all cobblestone for the challenge, and I think it turned out well, but I was ready to add a little more dimension, and I wanted it to look more weathered and aged. So we textured those walls, and this chimney, I went ahead and cleaned up the profile of it by adding some stairs to make it seem a little more worn, and then I blended it in with the roof a little bit better after the fact. So just little things here and there that I've been working on. I'm gonna go ahead and go around this house and take you to the place where I am keeping Richard. So I did, oh, he likes these carrots. You don't get any right now, maybe later. So down here, I just added some variation to the flooring, added some hay bales and a water trough area. Just something to, of course, he loves to make this weird jump that's like 4 blocks high. I don't know why he's doing that, but anyways, It just adds a little bit more variation. It seems a little more intentional, but it's still pretty simple. And eventually I'll make a real stable that's not a part of my house, but this space is perfect for keeping the horse anyways. He's pretty quick to get to, and I like that spot for the time being, but eventually I can do a full-on barn and try something else, but that works for what I need it to be. Now up here at the entrance, I did go ahead and add some furniture to this balcony as well. So I have like a sectional sofa and some bed couches. I'll just touch base on these pretty quickly. We got the brewing kitchen, which you saw in the time lapse. We got the living room with the fireplace, and again, the texture on the walls starts to come through on the interior, and I really like how that looks from inside as well. So I am happy with the texture changes. I did end up changing out this flooring, so I had a rug here and I decided to just change it for a different wood texture in this area instead, because I love these striped rugs and I put them everywhere, but I was getting to the point where I was like, I think 2 downstairs is probably enough and 3 would probably be too much. So I always feel like whenever there's a long span of just the same flooring that I need to break it up in one way or another. So typically I'll do a striped rug just because I like it better than a plain colored rug. But in this situation, we went with the different exposed logs that have been stripped. And actually, the carpet over here has a second purpose because I hid some lighting underneath it. It was getting really dark here, and I needed to bring some lighting in. So the carpet is covering up like 4 lanterns that are lighting this area. And I went ahead and dyed the signs, so they are now white text with some glow ink, just because it's pretty hard to read that from afar. This makes it a lot easier to read. Over here, we've got the armor stand storage. I will go ahead and fill out the armor stands as I go. I don't feel the need to do it right now, because I know eventually once I get a mob spawner farm, I'll get plenty of gold and leather armor that I don't even have anything to do with. So I'm going to wait until I have that going to fill out those armor stands. And then up here, more striped rugs, more bed couches, and then some more exterior chairs. Again, just to make this space feel like it has more of a purpose, because it was bare before and it needed something. And again, I can run out here and go to sleep if I need to, if it's just the closest place to get to a bed. I also love putting these potted plants in like every single interior I do. So they do a good job at filling in empty corners and adding some color to the room. So I throw those in whenever I can, whenever it makes sense. And I didn't mention this in the time lapse, but I moved the furnaces down here, and it just made the most sense to put it next to the lava farm. And I had this open wall anyways, so this is where they got relocated to. I do need to eventually put my composter somewhere, because that was another thing that was up there that I don't really have a space for now. But I have some ideas of where I can put that in the future whenever I take on some other projects that I have in mind. I did add the shelf up here to add some color and break up this wall because it was feeling a little plain. And then this is how I can get to my stone cutter pretty quickly. So I love whenever I can throw in those utility blocks. As for decoration, but also because I know that I'm actually going to use them. Now upstairs, we are in the bedroom area. We've got the storage at the top of the stairs, little storage closet. We got some barrels, and then this floor to ceiling bookshelf, which I really like how it turned out. It was just a spur of the moment idea, but I think it did a good job at separating this large space into smaller spaces. And we've got the bed, as you saw. This was a small area due to the slope of the roof, and I can't move any of these blocks because it would impact the exterior. So I decided to turn this into a desk area. So I got a fake computer, some paper, a chair, just something that I feel like if I had this space in real life, that would be the kind of furniture I'd put there. So I decided just to throw in a little desk. And then we've got the long storage hallway with all the barrels. Now these are all empty right now. I have nothing to put in here specifically yet, but I know that eventually I will have plenty to store, and it's nice having like room to grow. And so that was how I made a lot of these spaces. None of those have anything in them. None of these have anything in them, except for that has beds right now. But I know eventually I am going to need that, and I will be thankful to have the extra storage when I need it. Now, before we go, there is one last thing that I need to share with you guys. So I asked in the last video for some name ideas for this wolf that I had brought down to this librarian trading hall in the last episode, and one of you guys commented to name him Argos. So I have gone ahead and done that. Basically, the backstory is Argos is one of the original dogs in the Greek mythology world. He is one of Odysseus's dogs, I believe. And with this being an original dog before I got all the updated wolf textures, it seemed fitting, and I really appreciate that suggestion because I never would have thought of that myself. So yes, everyone, please say hi to Argos in the comments. So that being said, thank you so much for watching the video, and to anybody who joined stream and chatted during stream, thank you so much. I really appreciate having somebody to talk to and get to know. It's really been enjoyable just to have your suggestions and hear what you guys have to say. So if you liked the video, please like and subscribe if you would be so willing. I have some more projects that I am planning for the future that I am so excited to take care of, and I cannot get to soon enough, so I hope you guys are looking forward to them as well. You all have a great rest of your morning, day, or night, whatever it is for you, and I hope you know I am so grateful that you made it to the end of the video. You are literally the best.